Hi all. How you guys doing? Day 3. Good day so far? Last good summit? I'm Lauren Berkowitz. I was recently brought over to Premion to be their regional sales manager. And Andy and I have unknowingly grew up in the same area. So funnily enough, we were rivals, I should say, as high schoolers, but now we're partners for sure.
Yeah, partners in crime.
Exactly.
I'm Andy Rebhun. I'm the CMO of El Pollo Loco. I want to thank Brand Innovators for having us here today.
Yep.
Cool venue, and really happy and excited to talk to Lauren this morning.
I'm gonna dig in on you. Be careful.
Okay, I'm ready. Brought body armor.
So I think from a CTV OTT standpoint, how do you guys look at your audience? Is it and reaching them and measuring whether you're actually getting to that one consumer who is the typical consumer that you guys have, traditionally been tracing after?
Right. So typical El Pollo Loco consumer is probably between 40 to 50 years old. We have an aspirational consumer that's anywhere between 18 to 34. I think one of the biggest things that we're trying to do as a brand is really just try to bring more awareness to the younger audiences. You know, you've seen such brands like Chipotle, Sweetgreen do great work around getting millennial audiences into their restaurants through digital means. So they create incredible digital experiences that really gives that consumer a reason to believe that that's the brand for them. And so, through OTT, connected TV, et cetera, we are really just trying to do a better job of targeting our audience, making sure that there's that one-to-one relationship. We traditionally have just done massive TV buys, and we're doing a much better job of hyper-personalizing and driving people in through that massive segmentation tool.
So when you guys are looking at a segment, say for example, if you're looking at someone who can narrow it down all the way to that exact demographic, a household, so on and so forth, are you seeing a incline with consumers on a CTV OTT level versus linear?
Yeah, I think you see results, and one of the things that we're just doing, it's kind of like trial by fire. You do a lot of test and learn, you do a lot of iterating. You got to feel comfortable making mistakes. I'm a really big believer in fail fast and learn quickly, and for us, that's really the goal here. I don't think anybody's an expert in the space. It's continuing to evolve over time, and obviously with cookieless future, we have to be smarter as marketers, and so. We're going to continue to invest. We're going to continue to fail, continue to learn, and be better every day.
As far as a post-pandemic or partial mid, partial post-mid pandemic, maybe is the best way to phrase it. How are you guys approaching the on-site restaurant attribution traffic? Are you seeing more of a people coming in and taking it home? Or do you see people more still being on site? How is that?
So I'm going to ask the audience a question because I feel like everybody's kind of like at that point where they want to look at their phone and they're hungry for lunch. So it's time to ask the audience a question. How many of you stopped going to restaurants once the pandemic hit in California? Most of you are from California. Like a couple weeks, first few weeks, yeah? A lot of you raising your hands. And how many of you decided to do DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Postmates? Okay, there you go. Okay, so very similarly, I think our business changed as well. Overnight during the pandemic, our business dropped 40%. So imagine just pretty much getting wiped out one day after they announce all the closures, 40% down. Our delivery business was approximately 1% of our sales, and with the pandemic, we saw that go to 4%, we saw it go to 8%, we saw it go to 12%, and now it's hovering around 15%. It's kind of like the new normal for restaurants. I think, you hear Chipotle, you hear Starbucks, a lot of them are doing about 50% of their business off premise at this point. So, one of the cool things about the pandemic for us is it accelerated our digital transformation. Customers who traditionally would feel uncomfortable ordering from a mobile app, they became a little bit more comfortable. They dove in, they used DoorDash, they used Uber Eats. Many of you have probably heard in the trades that DoorDash and Uber Eats are like the devil. They're really not. They are kind of like the lifeblood that kept restaurants open. Quite frankly, I like to liken the experience to like a shopping mall. So when you go on DoorDash, you go on Uber Eats, you're kind of like, okay, I want chicken, I want pizza, I want Chinese food for dinner. And it essentially allows you to kind of like pick out that shirt that you'd buy at a, shopping mall, but this is what DoorDash provides for us. So lots of times when people type in tacos or burritos,
What
they
about
might
healthy?
or healthy. Yeah, I mean, we have a keto burrito. It's really good. I eat it a lot. So you can theoretically get whatever you need there. And so for us, it's a great advertising platform. It's a great tool. We don't get the data, but it's still a great source of sales for us. And oh, by the way, the other thing that restaurants that are complaining about the markup, they mark up their prices to cover the margins. So like for us, we mark up our prices like 20 to 25%.
What are your main key marketing channels that you're utilizing and seeing the most growth and success in retaining a consumer as well as growing that customer?
Yeah. So I think the biggest piece in our digital transformation is in 2019, we approximately spent about 5% of our advertising on digital. Through massive evolution, we're now up to about 52%, which is pretty crazy over the course of, call it 2.5 years. So digital is a great means, a great ROI tool for us. TikTok specifically, that's kind of just been the accelerator.
I was just about to ask, how is that campaign going?
Yeah, TikTok is going very well. We have a campaign that we launched about 4 weeks ago. It's called Abuela Approved. So for all those TikTok people out there, please go to TikTok.
It is a real grandma.
It is a real grandma. Her name is Rosa. She's pretty cool. We hung out. She essentially is trying to close that multi-generational gap that exists between a young millennial consumer and what is the older generation. And for those who are familiar in Hispanic households, the abuela is kind of seen as that
grandma.
Yeah, that
That's
grandma.
like a nana or a bubby.
Yeah, a nana or bubby grandma. She's kind of seen as that matriarch of the family, right? And so she makes the decisions on food. She will give the advice on relationships. She will say, some of the oddest things, and you just kind of have to laugh and nod your head. And so we've tried to bring that excitement with Rosa, our abuela. And so you'll see she comments on everything from cryptocurrency. So we got a Pollo coin. She talks about dating advice for her granddaughter to date Timothy Chalamet. And so there's a lot of different nuances that really, spark abuela and make her a really exciting figure and relatable for multiple audiences.
How would you say it's performing thus far against the other mediums in which you guys are running?
Yeah, so we, as of about call it 3 days ago, we've released 4 videos, actually 5 now. We've gotten over about 6 million views, 90% of those being organic, which is incredible. And so it's very well received by the audience, and everybody's kind of asked me, so is she going to stay on as a brand spokesperson? I think, this was a really good test and learn for us. I think it's possible. And it's fun. I mean, this is something that can live on for quite some time. So,
do you envision that also transferring over to a Facebook and Insta, type of campaign that way as well?
Yeah, I actually don't.
Okay.
I see TikTok. Part of the beauty of TikTok is the authenticity of the platform. And obviously, there's a reason why it exploded during the pandemic. People really wanted to find relatable people who had relatable stories, who were speaking in their own authentic tone of voice. And for us, that's what the beauty of TikTok is. There's no doctoring of what we're doing on TikTok. It really has a nice connection with our brand, which is very authentic, created ingredients, authentic dishes. And so for us, TikTok's going to remain on its own vein, and then Instagram and Facebook will continue their own individual strategies accordingly.
So when you're utilizing CTV and OTT, how are you measuring that and determining that that's a successful channel versus linear as we enter this more of a addressable factor, audience segmenting, households? Are you going after just strictly, solely Spanish speaking households? Are you serving only on the Spanish language content providers? Are you guys running also with English? Because about 90% of the US is bilingual.
Yeah, for sure. So we have about 35% of our consumer base, which is Hispanic. We definitely do different commercials, different languages. We have obviously Spanish and English. We look at ROAS, we look on addressable audience size, we look at customer lifetime value, all those different things that we can kind of put together as part of a business equation to kind of decide the decisions from a media standpoint. That's ultimately kind of the cost benefit analysis of how we devise our media plan.
Okay. And as far as the CTV standpoint, I apologize, guys. I'm on the CTV OTT, so that's my land. Formerly a network person. How are you looking at things and seeing the future for El Pollo Loco as we go into 2023?
Yeah. I think one of the things that we're going to have to be mindful of is obviously Netflix made their major announcement within the last 2 weeks about the advertising platform. It'll be really interesting to see how that evolves, not only for national brands, but also for regional brands. We have to be mindful of they have the lion's share of what is a cut the cord subscriber base. And so we're going to be very curious to see how that landscape evolves. We definitely want to be involved in that game. I think that there's a ton of potential there. Certainly, we do stuff with Hulu, with Roku today. There's a lot of millennials who cut the cord. So for us, just monitor the space, see how it evolves, and try to be on that cutting edge of the future.
On average, what are you looking at from a KPI standpoint, like a CPM and that ROI back on a campaign? If you're looking at, say, a $5 million campaign running across, doing just a cross-channel play?
I'm trying to do the calculator in my head right now. I think it depends. There's times where it's brand awareness.
Yep.
There's times where it's conversion. There's times where we're trying to steal traffic from a competitor, and there's specific objectives that we run on specific channels. So that would make the decision and answer different, just depending on what we're trying to accomplish.
So for the second half of the year coming up, what is the expected, or how are you envisioning the growth plan for the second half of the year and also going into 2023?
Yeah, I think everybody knows it's a really interesting time in the restaurant space right now. I'm sure many of you know, you go to the grocery stores. How many of you are paying more money for that glass of orange juice or banana? Few? Everybody? Yeah. Okay. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts, and restaurants are not any different. So that's why if you've gone through the drive-through at In-N-Out, you've gone to McDonald's, you've gone to Starbucks, everybody's paying more for everything. So, what restaurants have to try to figure out at this point is how do you adjust your strategy to make the consumer realize that, I can prepare a meal, so I can get the chicken, I can buy the marinade, I can buy the accoutrements. It's going to cost a lot of money, right? But, us at El Pollo Loco, we want to give consumers a reason to believe that essentially they can get all those things at an affordable price for their family. So, our approach in the back half of the year is we're going to really lean in heavily to value. In about 2 weeks, we have a commercial set starting called The Family Feast. It's essentially $24. It feeds a family of 4. It's 8 pieces of fire-grilled chicken, 4 churros, a large avocado salad, 2 sides, tortillas, and salsa. It's $24. Feeds the family, very, very nutritious, very healthy meal. And then we're also rejiggering our value strategy. We're doing this thing called $5 fire-grilled combos, which start at $5. Essentially, a customer can get a chicken cheese quesadilla, they can get a classic chicken burrito, they can get an original pollo bowl, or 3 tacos al carbone for $5, chips and a drink. So again, we're trying to make that affordable to the consumer and really get them to recognize that, I go to the grocery store, I prepare my food, it's going to be as expensive, if not more expensive, for me to make my meal. So again, I think you'll see a lot of the competitors in the space. I certainly saw as I was driving down the 405 on Monday, McDonald's just changed all their out-of-home billboards. Clearly a sign of the times. They're doing 2 for $3.99. So again,
But you
just
come
be
from
mindful.
McDonald's.
I did come from McDonald's.
What made you go from a McDonald's to a Pollo Loco? And has been your keys to success thus far between the two?
So my career, I spent 5 years at Ford Motor Company in a variety of marketing and sales roles, and then I spent the last 6 years after that at McDonald's. And for me, I had an opportunity to be employee number 4 on McDonald's digital team. So I essentially launched the mobile app, did kiosk, did McDelivery. But really, it was making a bigger impact at a small company that I think I really ultimately wanted to accomplish. And so I met a gentleman by the name of Bernardo Coca, who's now the CEO of Zaxby's, great mentor and friend now. He gave me the opportunity to lead the digital transformation at El Pollo Loco, which I had the fortunate opportunity to lead for kind of the last year and a half. And then I've been the CMO for about 7 months now. So,
from a brand awareness standpoint and national standpoint, and when you're looking at your budgets, are you focused on general market as a whole, national? Are you looking at it from both a national and regional, even local level for like a store location and expansion? Where what are your plans for expansion as you
Yeah,
move forward?
I'm excited about expansion. We announced plans about 8 weeks ago. We're going to be opening up in Denver, Colorado here in about 6 weeks. Very, very excited to go to Denver. We're opening up in Albuquerque by the end of the year. We're opening up in Oklahoma City. So right now we're in 6 states. We have about 500 restaurants. We do $1 billion a year in sales, 482 restaurants today. And again, we're really focused on expansion. I think it has to be the right market. El Pollo Loco about 10 years ago was owned by private equity, and they essentially decided to open up in Boston, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, just grow, 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 grow. Unfortunately, the brand didn't carry beyond, the Southwest. And so we're being very intentional about our growth strategy moving forward. So essentially, we're kind of expanding west and slowly going east. So really excited about that. And, obviously national, we have a national marketing strategy. We have a regional marketing strategy. The menu pretty much stays the same wherever you go for us. You're not going to see unique nuances, but yeah.
So from a standpoint of the folks like out there and myself, how do you measure if the performance that you're seeing in a campaign is coming from being driven by a CTV, linear, social? Is there an attribution factor that you guys
Yeah.
play and utilize in measuring and us being able to indicate where
Yeah.
everything's generated truly from?
Yeah, there's definitely certain attribution factors that we utilize. Obviously, we have mobile measurement partners that we can use. We use Branch specifically for app attribution. I would say that for us, though, when we try to evaluate a campaign, many times we tend to evaluate an LTO, so limited time offer. That's like your McRib, one of those things that come out once in a blue moon. Every 6 to 8 weeks, most restaurant chains in the QSR space will create a new product to try to drive you in. If it's something that you're already eating at the restaurant, great. You come another time. If you're not familiar with the restaurant chain, you come in, you try it. It's something you're interested in. For us, that's the biggest kind of driver of success right now. And then also just the brand awareness overall is huge. So evaluating that LTO, brand awareness, new customers, etc.
And with the IP world going away, entering into a cookieless land, how do you foresee it affecting your digital buying and with the privacy factors and your connected TV, OTT effect?
I got to figure out a way to bake more cookies. Just kidding. No, but look, we're doing everything we can to get more first party data to really make sure that customers are trying to sign up through our app. We've put a number of different tools in place so we can really understand the entire customer journey. So I don't know how many brands out there have CDPs, but we just recently got a CDP partner, which essentially, so I'm going to use Lauren, customer Lauren here as an example. So if Lauren's a customer, she swipes a credit card at El Pollo Loco, and she just does that, I have the ability to get credit card hash data, which is the last four of her credit card, and essentially create a profile on Lauren, which is super.
Theft.
Yeah. Yeah, it's theft. Yeah. Pretty crazy. But theoretically, let's say Lauren then joins our loyalty program. I have the ability to see that Lauren has been coming to El Pollo Loco, assuming she uses the same credit card, for the last 2 to 3 years. If Lauren tweets at me, if Lauren does a complaint to our customer service department, if Lauren buys a gift card, if Lauren enters an app session, if Lauren goes on our website, I have this ability to get Lauren's overall customer lifetime value. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for brands moving forward, is just making sure that you have all those different tools in place so I can follow you and your journey with me.
What if I don't want to go with you?
Well, then you're going to have to get on another boat.
From a CTV, OTT standpoint, are you finding yourselves, preferring to go directly with the network and that partner? Or are you looking at programmatic as an exchange factor? And are you also, going through the aggregators, as they say?
All of the above.
All of the above.
Answer D.
All right. So favorite commercial right now?
Oof.
I'm going to start wrapping it up.
Oh my gosh. Favorite commercial. Wow.
That's assuming that that you do watch commercials.
I honestly, I really don't. I don't watch commercials. It's really sad. I honestly don't watch much TV. Well, let's put a pin in that one. Sorry,
Right.
You stumped me.
Favorite sports team?
Oh, easy. LA Dodgers. Give me a harder one.
Football?
Rams.
All right. Interesting.
Yep.
Basketball? Lakers, Clippers?
Lakers.
Lakers.
But you can do a curveball for college team. That'll be a surprise.
College.
Wisconsin Badgers.
Not SC?
Oh no.
Wow.
I grew up a Bruin. I'm sorry.
Did you?
Yes, I did. A
Wow.
UCLA household.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, that
Okay.
that explains why we were rivals.
Yeah, very much so.
Anything you want to ask the audience? Anything else? Anything you want to ask me?
I'd love to open up the audience. If
Yeah.
anybody has questions, anything you want to know about restaurants, anything you want to know about the way we approach things at El Pollo Loco, anything you want to know about what I want to eat for lunch.
Oh, thank you. I'd be curious. Hi, my name is Alexandra Von Bargen. I'm with Volta Charging.
Awesome. Good to
Yeah.
meet you.
Good to meet you too. We are a EV charging network that has media screens, nationwide network.
Ooh, so you're a
And-
competitor of gas station TV.
Yes, they are. Except they're taking over more so because it's a fully electric and they're Tesla compatible.
Ooh.
Yes, that's true. And we are not at gas stations. We really focus on where people live, work, and play. And we have a big QSR strategy going on right now in terms of driving consumers to obviously QSR restaurants. So I just wanted to understand better your digital out of home strategy and looking at new innovative partners and where someone like us could fit into that mix.
Yeah. So without giving away too much information, we are going to embark on a massive digital out of home strategy in March of next year. So that would be for us specifically a very good time to talk to us. I'm really a big believer of digital out of home, specifically for QR codes. I think QR codes have seen a massive resurgence during the pandemic, and I think ultimately it's a very seamless type of avenue for customers to have frictionless access to an app, to a website, to an experience. Obviously, it complicates things a little bit when you're stuck on the 405 and you try to do the QR code while you're driving, then you rear end somebody.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
So that's definitely not a good thing. So it depends on the medium, but the more you have the ability to be top of mind for the consumer. So if you're driving on the 405 and I see that beautiful digital out of home billboard and there's something that reminds me of El Pollo Loco and I'm like, I haven't had dinner yet. Check. I'm going to go to El Pollo Loco. That to me, it's a directional ability to influence a consumer's decision. When I was with McDonald's, I would say out of home was a huge part of the strategy, specifically in Atlanta, just because there's so many more billboards in that market. I don't think LA specifically is a huge billboard market, and there's different purposes that you can utilize it. But I would just say for us specifically, digital out of home is going to be a huge part of our strategy moving forward. I can't really tell you more at this point, but we are going to unlock an incredible digital experience at the end of February, beginning of March of next year, which we should talk. Yeah.
I think there was another question back there.
Yes, sir.
John Margolis. I'm with Atmosphere. We're also digital out of home, so we actually
Oh.
do TVs
Ooh.
in businesses like
Oh, I see a competition.
restaurants.
Rivals.
You guys should do a thumb war.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's actually interesting. And when you run a campaign, I always see like, the taco campaign. We want tacos, Lakers. I'm just wondering if those things you see those immediate. You see like, in-store visits increase during those. Are you looking at 7 to 14 days? Like, how are you measuring the performance of those campaigns?
So my friends at the Dodgers would kill me for saying this, but I'm going to say it. So it really depends on the uniqueness of the platform when you have those promotions. So I think everybody knows now. We go back 3 minutes ago. I'm a huge Dodgers fan. The Dodgers have like 5 trigger promotions. So if the Dodgers score 6 runs, you get 6 McNuggets when you buy a medium fry on the next day. When the Dodgers get 10 strikeouts, you get a free Jumbo Jack with the purchase of a large drink. When the Dodgers win at home, you get a free CPK pizza when you eat in store. When the Dodgers steal a base, you get a free AM/PM hot dog when the Dodgers steal a base. That's just an example. That's just the Dodgers. But again, it just shows you there's a lot of noise. And so I'm a firm believer of allowing the brand to kind of play in a unique space. It's certainly valuable to a certain degree. When I was with McDonald's, we sponsored every single sports team from Maine to Miami, as far west as Birmingham. Like, I get it. It's a very impactful tool to drive traffic, especially digitally now. But I think you have to be mindful of how many other brands are making noise out there, because I think it dilutes the message when you're the 4th, 5th, 6th QSR brand that's playing in that space. But I like it. I think it's very valuable, but it has to be the right partner.
Mike, Code 3, we're an integrated full-service digital agency. So you went from 5% digital spend before pandemic to 52%. How did you scale? How did you adapt your team? And what were the challenges you had and obviously the successes?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge was initially, when I arrived at El Pollo Loco, we were working with a great media agency that really was focused. They're great at buying TV. That was their superpower. They were not as skilled in buying digital advertising. When I saw my cost pers on campaigns, I fell out of my chair. Literally, I got there the first day and I was like, oh my God, I just was in shock. So I think it was really about getting the organization more comfortable with being uncomfortable. We went from 5% to 10% to 15% to 20%. We saw the ROAS kind of improve over time. We saw a lot more, I'd call it just success metrics in terms of the KPIs that we wanted to achieve for campaigns. We brought in a new media agency. We use Initiative. They do a fantastic job. I don't know. Sorry, plug for Initiative. All the brand marketers out there, they do a really, really nice job. Thrilled with the level of work that they brought to our business. Yeah, I mean, it really just, it's a lot about the test and learn strategy. It's about improving the results over time and really just getting a much better gauge on the performance marketing aspect of the business. Again, I think my franchisees, that was probably the most difficult conversations that were had, because they were like, oh, well, you're going to take away from TV. What does that mean? Oh my God, I'm scared. Like, I don't want my TV to go away from the Dodger games and Laker games. I want to see our brand on TV. And I was like, don't worry. You're going to see the brand on TV. It's just going to be different, and you're going to see more on digital. You're going to see it on YouTube. You're going to see it in programmatic. And so again, it's just making sure that you bring them along for the journey and then kind of just show how that scales over time. So.
One last question.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh. It's the voice of God.
It is. So I was reading the sports section of the LA Times this morning, and apparently you're going to be throwing out the first pitch at the Dodger game today. And,
Are you really?
And I'd like to know,
Wait, really?
for someone that has about a dozen Dodger jerseys, I want to know which one you're going with.
Oh, boy. Which Dodger I'm going to throw out the first pitch to?
No, which jersey you're going to wear.
Oh, tonight. Either not Kershaw. Probably Freddie Freeman or Mookie Betts. That's kind of like my standard. Those are my two that I like to wear. Thank you for embarrassing me.
Was that one of your number one dreams? Is that like a bucket list checkoff?
Yes, it 100% was. Yes. So I'm very humbled and excited for the opportunity tonight.
Have fun in the parking lot, though.
Thank you. I will. Thank you.
Thanks so much.